Welcome back to today's episode of Professors in Property with the phenomenal David Clouter and me, Andrew Roberts. Today we're discussing the 9 great ways to raise money to invest in a property. I know that we can also work with other people, David, and it might be you partner with somebody in order to buy your first home or buy your first investment property. Now, if you're doing this as an investment, be very careful about soliciting people to invest in a project. Sometimes it's called joint venturing. And if you joint venture with somebody, make sure that you go through and check the FCA guidelines, the Financial Conduct Authority guidelines, because you can get in trouble for soliciting cash from other people. But if you do follow those guidelines, partnering with somebody else can be really good. It might be a builder who brings his skills to the table, you bring some money, and you're able to collaborate together where he buys the materials and puts in his time, you put in the deposit, and you buy something that you can uplift the value on. I mean, that's a very common thing that people do. Or it could be that David and I are friends and we decide that we actually want to buy some houses together and set up a company and run that as a business together. So it's very popular. And you'll often bump into people like this, perhaps at the flying club, perhaps maybe at other clubs like the Chamber of Commerce. So all of these are places where you can bump into potential business partners for your property business. Where have you bumped into people, David?
Oh, here, there, and everywhere, Andrew. It's interesting that that you should ask. I tend to, of course, there's a wonderful place that I've heard of called the Great Property Meet, which is a lovely way for meeting people who have already expressed an interest in property. My golf is absolutely appalling, although I think that would be a great way to do it. Networking clubs, local business groups, I've certainly belonged to those, and sometimes there are kind of enthusiast groups like the Ferrari Owners Club or that kind of thing, where you'd meet people who would have the sort of right sort of income levels to be partners, where you or I are bringing the experience to the deal. At the moment, there's a well-known saying, money needs a home. And the banks at the moment, with interest rates being at this all-time extraordinarily low position, the banks are perhaps not the best home for the savings, as you mentioned earlier, because inflation is eroding into those savings faster than interest is topping them up. So there's a very good case to do it, and the fact that it's backed by bricks and mortar, which are kind of universally really seen as a very safe home for money, is probably a good starting point. It's a good opener, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, you mentioned a Ferrari Owners Club. I have a good friend who is a member of the Jaguar Club, and lots of the friends within that club join together and invest in property together. So these are places that you can go and perhaps get other people to invest with you. Another place, if you wanted to do it in a very safe and regulated environment that's fully FCA compliant, Financial Conduct Authority compliant, is to use a crowdfunding platform or a peer-to-peer lender who will do due diligence on the property that you're considering purchasing, and they will undertake checks on the people who are borrowing the money and the people who are depositing the money into the scheme. So I've used peer-to-peer lending before. Have you ever used these, David?
No, I haven't, but I wouldn't be averse to doing so should the need arise. I do think it takes care of all the regulatory issues, and so you or I can get on with the property stuff that we know best, and we certainly live in an era where compliance is very important in all areas of our lives, really. So I think they're a really neat and streamlined kind of solution.
Yeah, no, perfect. Well, I think last thing that we're coming on to is the banker mum and dad. Now, I know some of your children have flown the nest. Have they relied on Bank of Mum and Dad?
I'm quite keen for them to be resilient and to stand on their own feet, because that's what I did when I was starting out. I mean, later on, the Bank of Mum and Dad may come to take an interest, but I think it's better to teach at this point, and for them to be able to feel a bit of the kind of the fact that money doesn't grow on the old proverbial money tree, and that it does have to be earned, and but to show them the wise way to do it. So at the moment, the Bank of Mum and Dad in the Clowder household is acting in an advisory capacity, and that, I think, is again worth its weight in gold. I would like to think.
Well, I think it's certainly worth its weight in gold. So in this video, we've shared with you how to improve your cash flow, how to save to invest in a property, how to raise a mortgage, things such as the affordability checks and the credit rating that you need to be aware of, how to downsize and release equity. We've looked at how to remortgage to release cash. Tapping into your pension could give you cash to invest in a property. Networking, joint venturing and partnering with other people. Using crowdfunding and peer-to-peer lenders, and the Bank of Mum and Dad. David, that was a whistle-stop tour. If you'd like to know more on any of these topics, drop us a question or a comment below, and we will endeavour to answer that for you as quickly as we can. If you've enjoyed this video and you think other people could benefit from it, hit the share button. We'd love it if you liked the video, and we'd double love it if you subscribe to the channel as well. So it's thank you from the Professors of Property. I'm Andrew Roberts.
And I'm David Clowder.